In my town, there are two theaters. The first is a Mongol Colossus popcorn, 24 screens, 18 of which are Harold and Kumar showing dumb crap to idiots joint. And the other is a back alley, broke-ass seats, coffee, and croissants dump that shows boring, pretentious shit to boring, pretentious people. And never the twain should meet, or so you'd think, but forget it, because anyone that says that there was anything this year with the crying and the subtitles and the angst that was a patch on Kung Fu Panda is deluded. And the same goes for anyone that spent money on one of the myriad terrible Hollywood thrillers at the Megaplex while In Bruges was playing at the snob joint down the street with no advertising and about 1 million times better. All of the old divisions, Hollywood versus indie, art house versus blockbuster, foreign versus domestic, film versus TV versus web, have become useless at predicting or finding stuff that's good or just worth watching. Some of the best filmmaking of the past 5 years is on the Cartoon Network, and some of the most interesting is on the web. I don't care if I'm supposed to like something or not, and neither should you. If it's worth watching, I'll watch it and I'll love it, whether it's Vin Diesel or a Polish gangster feminist flick from 1994 or a DVD collection of music videos directed by an African dude. If it's out there, we'll watch it, and in the stream section of our site, we'll tell you every week whether you should watch it too. Welcome to the substream. It gets repeated ad nauseum, and with good reason usually. You can't criticize the film a director didn't make. It's not only not fair, it's usually pretty pointless. But in cases like with Errol Morris and his new documentary, Standard Operating Procedure, it gets really tempting to think about the film that he could have made had he shifted his focus 10 degrees to the left rather than the film that he actually made. And what the film that he actually made is about, generally, is the abuses of American military intelligence at Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, and specifically the photos that documented that abuse and the fallout that resulted from when those photos were made public. And let me say right off the bat that the film is extraordinarily well made for what it is. And that's one of those pointless, unfair little jabs that I'm going to be making about the film, just so you know. It's incredibly beautiful, and it features the same kind of creepy, intense interviews that made his last film, the award-winning Fog of War, Oscar award-winning Fog of War, so powerful. And those interviews are the weird result of a thing called the Interatron, which is a machine that Morris invented that projects his image onto a pane of glass in front of the camera lens so that when his interviewees think that they're addressing him directly, they're also addressing directly the camera and by extension the audience. And it features a bunch of the same really beautiful, really well shot bits of reenactment that he's so famous for. It also features incredible access with interviews with a lot of the grunt soldiers that ended up doing time for the whole scandal, including Lindy England, who was the 20-year-old female private from this photograph, where this is an Iraqi dude's penis. But what the film doesn't feature is interviews with two other soldiers higher up the chain of command who were given much harsher sentences of 8 and 10 years, respectively. And the guy that got 10 years, Charles Grainer, is the father of Lindy England's baby and also married one of the other soldiers implicated in the scandal. It also mentions that the CIA and OGA, which is other governmental agencies, were conducting interviews in the prison that went far beyond in brutality anything that was captured in any of the Abu Ghraib photos. And in the end of the film, in the credits, it's mentioned that the reason that Morris couldn't get Grainer for the film is that it was forbidden by American military officials. But, so what? Is that an excuse? Well, the film does a really good job of exploring the specifics of the abuse that went on and the photos that captured it, who took the photos, who was in the photos, when they took the photos, and how the soldiers, or most of them, felt now and then about what they were doing. Any attempt to extrapolate from those specifics or do any kind of valid inductive reasoning about what Abu Ghraib says about the war as a whole, or the military in general, is blocked by Morris's laser-like focus on the specificities of masturbating Iraqis. And I know that sounds really weird, but it's true. What I felt myself feeling halfway through the film is that I wished I wasn't watching a film about Abu Ghraib. I wish that Morris had taken his legitimately amazing talents and made a film about the CIA interrogations that he mentioned, or the OGA interrogations that he mentioned, or the renditions, or any of the black sites in Syria, or anything else about the war that hasn't been gone over a million times by people with way less talent than Errol Morris. There's nothing new in this film about Abu Ghraib other than the specifics, and while the specifics are interesting, you know, what do they say about the war in general? To me, if you make a film about the Abu Ghraib scandal, you have to get the mastermind or the ringleader or the guy that's being blamed in the film for organizing everything, which is Grainer, which they didn't get. And if you can't get him, you don't make the movie. But he did make the movie, and he made a really good one. But he made one that, and this is where I'm going to be really unfair, made me wish that he made a different movie.